So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Welcome back here, BSN Network. This is BSN Network podcast here today. It is Monday, July 26th. Hopefully everybody's having a day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. It is in fact Monday, July 26th here today, coming off of another big day in baseball yesterday and another big weekend in baseball. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend and enjoyed all the baseball that was on, all the sports that were on. The Olympics were on. I watched some of the Olympics. I watched some baseball, so a lot of sports on over the weekend. That's usually how it is. Now we had to get back into the week, get back into the usual, baseball on throughout the week, and now obviously with the Olympics being on as well. So that's good. Coming off of another tough weekend for the New York Yankees as they fall to the Boston Red Sox 3 out of 4 games. They were able to find a way to win on Saturday, coming back from the deficit. They were able to find a way to get a win on Saturday, get the 4-3 win. Yesterday, you go for the split, you go for the series split, and if you win yesterday's game, you got to feel somewhat confident. Although you didn't make up any games in the standings, you got to feel at least somewhat confident heading into Tampa Bay that you can at least get the win against the Yankees, and sure enough, or get the win against the Red Sox rather, and sure enough, they could not get the job done yesterday either. They fall 5-4 against the Boston Red Sox, so they lose 3 out of 4 against Boston in Boston. Just something about Boston this year, we just cannot beat the Red Sox, and people don't realize that the Red Sox are a good team this season. Like, a lot of people have been really underrating them, not really paying close attention to them, and I think if you're a Yankee fan, this should be an eye-opener. Like, the Red Sox are a good team this year. There's no other way to put it. They are a very good team. They are a team that is not easy to beat. They are a team that is very, very good. All up and down their lineup. They can hit. They throw a lot at you. Righty, lefty, righty, lefty. It's really big. And, the Red Sox are a good team. And there's no other way to put it. And the Yankees just cannot seem to beat them. The Yankees just cannot seem to get over the hump and beat them. We took 2 out of 3 at Yankee Stadium. Don't get me wrong. That was great. But then you go to Fenway and you just can't win. Like, the Yankees just can't find a way to win a couple games against them, and it's tough because every game against them in the series was all 1-run games except on Friday, where they lost 6-2. But other than that, on Thursday it was a 10-inning game they lost. They blew the lead in that game. Friday, they lost 6-2. That was not really close, 4-run game. Then Saturday, you win 4-3. That's a one-run game. And then Sunday, you lose 5-4. So they were all close games. It's not that we got blown out. We just can't finish off games. We're blowing games. And it's another tough loss yesterday for the New York Yankees. The Mets got the win yesterday. They were able to find a way to come back. So the Mets were able to come back. The Mets did the opposite of the New York Yankees. The Mets were down 3-1. They put up 4 runs in the 6th inning or something. Then they were able to come back and win 5-4. So the Mets got the win yesterday. They will start up a series today against the Braves. They have a doubleheader today against the Braves. 5 o'clock game, then an 8 o'clock game Eastern Standard Time at Citi Field. So they'll have a doubleheader today against the Braves. Just another one of these weird series for the Mets. Another one of these weird games. Another one of these doubleheaders. It's been happening this entire season for the New York Mets, and it continues to happen. Obviously, everything that happened earlier in the year and everything that happened, earlier in the season with them is continuing to happen as they have yet again another doubleheader today. They will play against the Atlanta Braves, a team who is similar to the New York Yankees, is in a very big situation here. Braves are 48-50. They are not playing great baseball. They're 4-6 in their last 10, so maybe they decide to sell at the deadline. We'll see, but the trade deadline, people, is only 4 days away, July 30th. So, only a couple days away here. So, there's already been a trade with Adam Frazier, so a lot to get to. with that. So a lot to get to with the trade deadline as well. We'll talk about that throughout the week. So let's get to the topics for today's podcast. This Monday podcast, obviously always a lot in store coming out of the weekend. Today I'm going to get to the Yankee series recap. I tend to do these a lot Mondays, Wednesdays, middle of the week to start the week, something like that. I've been talking about the Yankees and their series recap, so I'm going to get to the Yankees today, talk about the series recap, talk about the 4 games in Boston, other really than the Thursday game because I talked about that on Friday. But get to the games over the weekend. It was obviously another tough weekend for the New York Yankees, losing 3 of 4 to Boston. I'm going to get to this recap, kind of talk about what's ahead. Have the Yankees made their decision on buying or selling? Did this series show us anything? Kind of get into that because we are still, as Yankees fans, still kind of in the middle. It's like some want us to buy, some want us to sell, some of us want us to stay put and kind of just, fix things in the offseason. What do the Yankees decide to do? And we'll find out if they do anything at all on July 30th or up, the days leading up to July 30th. We'll find out. I mean, it's going to be interesting, but I'll tell you what. The Yankees ain't making this easy on Brian Cashman because we're winning. We go on these stretches, then we get crushed. Then we go on these stretches, then we get crushed. It's like we're not making this thing easy, and we'll see how it all plays out. So we'll get to the Yankees. Then I want to get into the Rangers trade, Pavel Buchnevich. This is a trade that happened over the weekend as the Rangers traded right winger Pavel Buchnevich to the St. Louis Blues. I don't really like the trade much. I know there's a lot of people out there that are trying to, tell us why why you should like the trade. A lot of people saying why it's a good trade. I personally don't like the trade. I personally don't think it's a good trade. As much as I hope and think that Chris Drury will do good things with the Rangers, as much as I do think he will be active this offseason leading into free agency and then throughout the rest of the offseason with trades, I personally do not think this was a good trade. I don't think it's a trade that any Rangers fans should try to sit here and be happy about. Any Rangers fans should try to sit here and be excited about. And I'll tell you a couple reasons why. And I'm not going to get to them right now. I'll get to them in a little bit. I have many different reasons to tell you why. So I'll get to that for my second topic. Then we'll finish off the podcast with the New York Sports Update. And, we'll get to the New York Sports Update. Yankees, day off today. They will head to Tampa, although they're probably already in Tampa. Judge and Gio are expected to return to the lineup tomorrow. So I'd assume some other players would get called down. I'm not sure who, but I'm sure slowly by little here, some of the minor leaguers, some of the guys we called up will start to get back down to AAA, and our roster will look a whole lot more normal. Although I'll tell you what, the Yankees, I think, should keep up a couple players. I know a lot of people might disagree, with some of these guys, but Greg Allen hit well. Maybe if you deal him somewhere else, see what he could do at the major league level. Maybe you could get something for him. Something like that. I know it sounds crazy, or I would love to keep up Estevan Florial. I know you don't have much room for him, but who are we going to put in the outfield? And we still have no outfielders. So technically, outside of Judge, and you still need an outfielder. And I would like Florial up. I would still like to have him continue in the outfield. He's been amazing. So, we'll see. But with all that being said, obviously Mets play a doubleheader today, start up a series against the Braves. Alrighty, so with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So, coming off of another big weekend here in baseball, the New York Yankees lost 3 out of 4 games to the Red Sox. They lost on Thursday, lost Friday, won Saturday 4-3, and then they lost again yesterday in the series finale 5-4. And yesterday's loss is just gut-wrenching. It's one of those losses where, you're about 6 outs away from a no-hitter. You're 6 outs away from, splitting the series in Fenway. You probably don't feel great about it, especially the way you lost on Thursday. You blew that lead on Thursday. You could have very well took 3 out of 4. And, then you find a way to, lose yesterday, and you lose 3 out of 4. And, it's now you head to Tampa, and you're just not on a good note. So the New York Yankees, yet again, not able to find a way to win in Fenway, not able to find a way to consistently beat Boston, and not able to find the winning formula that is going to get them wins, because this has been happening all year long now with the New York Yankees, where they go on these stretches where it's promising, it gets us fans, including myself, excited, And then they go through these stretches where they look like a complete train wreck, and they look lost, like they don't know what they're doing. And this weekend was a pure example of they looked lost, they do not know what they're doing, and they looked really, really bad, especially yesterday, losing the game that they did. And this is how the Yankees have been losing games this entire season. There's been so many losses this season off of 1-run, 2-run games where we had the lead going into the 7th, 8th, 9th innings, and we blow the lead. I mean, I could just think of a couple off the top of my head. Let's go to Thursday. We blew the game on Thursday. I mean, that's a lead you cannot blow. You're winning, you bring in Chad Green, and you blow the game. You can't do that. That just can't happen. First game against the Red Sox, a golden opportunity to take game 1. You don't know how huge that would be. You lose on Thursday. That's one of the gut-wrenching losses. Then again on Sunday, yesterday, you're 6 outs away from a no-hitter. Domingo Germán's pitching an absolute gem. 10 strikeouts. His curveball's on. Fastball is working well up the zone. He was dominating everyone, going through this very difficult Red Sox lineup. And he lets up a double. Boone takes him out. Okay, I'm all right with that. I know I'm going to get to that in a second. And then Loaiza, who's been amazing this year, has been arguably the Yankees' best reliever this season. Just does not have it. Lets up 4 runs. And then Zach Britton comes in, gets the outs. He still lets up some of those runs, although that was, that's Loaiza's. He gets the outs, gets out of the inning. And then the Yankees go down, I don't think in order, because I think, Stanton might have got on base. I'm not sure. Then Wade got, or something like that. I'm not sure exactly. But then the Yankees, I forget. I was so angry at they let the 5-4 lead at the 9th inning. I was just sitting there, kind of watching in disbelief, so I kind of forget all that what happened. I do know Odor ended up popping out, and he ended up losing the game. Those are 2 of the gut-wrenching losses. You even go way back into, the Angels' gut-wrenching loss. That was a tough one. You go to the Yankees-Astros before the All-Star break. You're winning 7-2 going into the bottom of the 9th. And, you let up, all those base runners and you let up all that stuff. You ended up losing there. Just trying to, think of some other ones here. Look through some of the other. Oh, you go to that Mets game. I'm going way back here. I'm just thinking of other losses. You go to that Mets game. You're winning 5-3 or 5-4 or something. Chapman comes in, lets up a home run. That's just like 6 in the month of July. That's just like 5 in the month of July. 2 against Boston, against Houston. Then you have the Mets. That's just like 5 in the month of July alone. Then you go off to all the rest of the season, and it's really bad. And this has been a common theme for the New York Yankees, these gut-wrenching losses. And if you look at these, and all these games that they have lost, all these games are extremely winnable. This isn't just like, we had a 1-run lead going to the bottom of the 9th and we blew it. You blow a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 9th, yeah, it's tough, but, it's highly more likely to blow a 1-run lead than blow a 5-run lead in the bottom of the 9th. And the Yankees seem to be doing that night in and night out, day in and day out. And that's been a big issue for us. You take these 5 games in the month of July, and let's just say we win 4 of those 5 games. All of a sudden, the outlook is so much different. Because, number one, instead of losing 3 out of 4 against Boston, you win 3 out of 4. And now, all of a sudden, okay, we're not 9 games back now. We're about maybe 5 games back, and we're looking way better in the wild card. Right, we're looking way better in the wild card. Instead of being 51-47, well, you're 55 and 45 or something. I don't know. You're 9-10 games above 500 instead of being 4 games above 500. It's incredible what these losses have done to the New York Yankees. These close losses where you just cannot finish out a game. It's been happening the entire year. This is something that the bullpen to start the season was really good. The bullpen was unbelievable to start the season. The pitching was unbelievable to start the season. It was unbelievable. And now the bullpen has been atrocious. Our closer role is still an if. Chapman did close out the game on Saturday, but he still worked in and out of trouble. He allowed a single and a walk. It was still 2nd and 3rd. He did get the guy out. He did get out of the inning, but it wasn't smooth. Okay, he got out of there. Chad Green's been good, but He's been good as a closer. I feel like in a way, though, if you want Chad Green to be a closer, you got to give him an offseason to really get into that closer role type pitcher. Because it does take a different type of pitcher to be a closer. You got to have a certain type of pitch arsenal. You got to be able to locate your pitch. Like closer's not an easy job. Chad Green's been a mid-reliever. They've kind of just thrown him into the closer role. Our bullpen's been atrocious. And we blow yesterday's game again. 5-4. And Domingo Germán, who this season has almost been like the New York Yankees, where he's had stretches. He started off the season really bad. Then when he had a really good stretch, then he was bad, and then he's kind of got a good stretch, and then he's bad again, and then yesterday was another good start. He's been in a season where it's been up and down, up and down, up and down. And we all know he can be a really good pitcher. It's just a matter of, can he be consistent? And yesterday he had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning. A no-hitter going into the 8th inning, and you lose the game 5-4. If you would have told me that my pitcher had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning, and oh, by the way, the Yankees gave him a very good run cushion. They got a run in the 3rd and the 4th inning, then a 6th inning, and then they added another run in the 8th inning, which technically could have been like the knockout blow, and then you let up 5 runs in the 8th inning. The Yankees yesterday did their job on offense. They had 9 hits and 4 runs. The Yankees just keep finding new ways to lose. It's incredible. It really is. It's wild. It's very frustrating. It's terrible. They keep finding new ways to lose. Some games it's, we only scored 1 run and had 3 hits. Yesterday they scored 4 runs, had 9 hits. The offense did their job. Ruth Neto Dort had a big game. And you blow the game in the 8th inning, 5-4. The Yankees just can't seem to ever get everything right for just one game. There's always something that's going on with this Yankees team. Whether it's the bullpen blowing it, whether it's the hitting not showing up, whether it's a bad pitching performance from one of our starting pitchers, whatever it is, whether it's the defense making an error or two, whatever it is, this team just cannot seem to get on the right page ever. There's always something bad that happens. And yesterday it was the bullpen, and I wonder what tomorrow is going to be. If it's going to be the bullpen, is it going to be the bullpen? Is it going to be the hitting? What's it going to be? If we lose, it's probably going to be one of those things. Because every single game, it's the same exact thing with the New York Yankees. Our bullpen blows it. Or, we only got 2 hits. Or, we only scored 1 run. Or, we left the bases loaded twice. Because that has a lot happens too with the New York Yankees. We can't score with runners in scoring position. It's been an issue this entire year. Yankees yesterday score with runners in scoring position. And guess what? The bullpen lets up 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th. I mean, you're carrying a no-hitter into the 8th inning. And you lose a game like that? And speaking of no-hitter, because this is a big topic right now, I want to clear this thing up because I know a lot of people are going to probably be wondering about this. A lot of people disagree with Aaron Boone taking out Domingo Germán. I actually don't. I really don't. Not that I tend to really disagree with him. I wouldn't have been mad either way, is what I'm saying. Let me tell you why. Okay, if they kept him in, I would have been okay with it. I'm kind of in the 50-50 here. If they kept him out, I would have been okay with it. Taking him out, I was perfectly fine with it. Okay, it's tough because Jonathan Loáisiga has been arguably our best reliever this season, maybe only outside of Chad Green, and he just didn't have it yesterday. He just didn't have it. So it's kind of tough because Boone, who has been relying on Loáisiga a lot this season. He's been stepping up and making... I mean, we can all agree as Yankee fans that he's been amazing for us this year. Germán was amazing. He lets up the double. You're like, okay, he's already at 93 pitches. To be honest, the Yankees really haven't stretched out Germán yet this season. And the last thing you want is, Germán, the next batter, who was, I believe, Hunter Renfroe, the next batter to, step up there and hit a home run, and all of a sudden it's a 4-2 game. And then now you're all of a sudden in a very bad situation. So I see where Boone's coming from there. I also could see where Yankee fans are coming from of, just because he gave up a double and the no-hitter's gone, you still keep him in there. He was only at 93 pitches. But you also got to realize 93 pitches for Germán's a lot this season. This season, he's been at like 80 pitches is like his max. And recently he's been more in that reliever role, which is only not that many pitches. So I could see where the Yankees are coming from with that. Like I said, I don't tend to disagree with them taking him out. I could have seen it either way. I really wouldn't have disagreed either way. I think Yankee fans it's in one of those situations where you're mad because it didn't work out. If they kept Germán in and it never worked out, you would have been mad that they kept Germán in. If they brung in Loizaga and it worked out, you would have been happy that they brung in Loizaga. If they kept Herman in and it worked out, you would have been happy. It's kind of one of those situations, right? Like, it didn't work out, so you're going to be mad. I'm going to be honest, sitting there watching that game, I wasn't mad when they took him out. As a Yankee fan, you got to see that coming. I mean, you really think Boone's going to keep him out there after a leadoff double? Boom, just like that. Oh, okay, just like that, a double, and he trade his places, and it's a run. And now all of a sudden it's a 4-1 game with a runner on second. And you're getting closer to the top of the order because then comes up Christian Vasquez. I'm just thinking of situational stuff. If this would have happened, then you get closer and closer to the top of the order because then that's the 8 hitter. You get to the 9 hitter, then 1 hitter. Boom, you're at the top. So we'll see. Well, I was kind of sitting there, like we'll see what happens here, but I wasn't shocked. The no hitter was broken up. You take him out. You bring in a guy who all of us Yankee fans should trust. Who Aaron Boone trusts, who I think the entire Yankees team trusts. Jonathan Loizaga has been great for us this season. He just didn't have it. But it's just frustrating because the Yankees just can't get out of their own way with these losses. It's so, I would rather, okay. This might sound, because I hate losing. I hate it. And you could tell here, I mean, this is going to stick with me until tomorrow's game. I can't stand losing, okay? I don't like losing, especially when it's like this. When you lose a game like 5-4, or when you lose a game like a 1-run game, or if you lose a game like this where you're up 4-0, you have a no-hitter going into the bottom of the 8th, and that happens. It's just wild. And the Yankees, and that's another thing too, the Yankees wasted a gem from Herman. This isn't everybody's kind of just talking about how they blew this game. Let me tell you, Herman threw a gem yesterday. 7 innings, 1 hit, only allowed 1 run, 1 earned, which was the double by Verdugo. Had 1 walk, which was going up to the bottom of the 8th, was his only base runner allowed. He had 10 strikeouts, 93 pitches, 65 of them were strikes. That, I think, so far this season was his best start. He was excellent yesterday. And going out there, wanting to split the series, you needed a big start from Herman. He gave you it, and the bullpen just blew up. Loizaga didn't even get an out. 4 innings. Not 4 innings. No innings. He didn't even record an out. 4 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned. He only threw 10 pitches. He got rocked. 10 pitches. I mean, he did, 70% of them were strikes. He did throw strikes, but they got hit. And I know a lot of Yankee fans are going to be mad at Loizaga. I'm not happy either. It was tough, but don't give up on him yet. Don't give up. Not even yet. Don't give up on him. He had a bad performance. He'll be able to bounce back. He had a bad performance earlier in the year. Every reliever is going to go through it. Britton came in. He didn't allow a run. He got the outs. He came in, did his job. He got 3 outs and got the Yankees out of an atrocious inning, and then we ended up losing. Just to put this in perspective, going into the bottom of the 8th, the Red Sox did not have a single hit. They had 5 hits in the bottom of the 8th inning. So the 8th inning's just terrible. I mean, it says late in games. If the Yankees, right, if these games this season were 7 innings, the Yankees would be undefeated. We've blown so many games, and we continue to blow games. Just going back to Thursday, you blow 2 games in 1 series. How does that happen? You blow the game on Thursday, you blow the game yesterday. 2 games, and you win those 2 games, which is very highly likely that you win those 2 games. Boom, you're 3 and you take 3 or 4, and you're in complete. Your outlook of the upcoming series here is completely different because you take 3 out of 4 against Boston. You head into Tampa. You're a Yankee fan today. You got to feel really confident. Instead, we're talking about Yankees losing 3 out of 4 and having to head to Tampa for a very difficult series of 3 games. And I don't even really know where to start. How big this series is. I don't even really know how to start because at this point, I know at this point all of us Yankee fans have been saying, "Oh, this is a big stretch for us." Forget about it. Yankees right now are put in a situation where Brian Cashman's got to decide. I mean, he's going to have to make a decision. I don't think this Rays series is going to be absolutely nothing. Okay, so what if we sweep the Rays? If we go and sweep Tampa, I don't think that makes us buyers. I don't think that automatically makes us going all out. If we get swept by the Rays, I don't think that automatically makes us sellers. I think this Rays series is just another series. At this point, I don't even think Brian Cashman knows what to do. Because the Yankees are making this thing so complicated. they're winning games. We look like we're a complete baseball team. And then you go out and you lose games like you did yesterday, and you look like, gosh, this team's terrible. It's just it's inconsistent. And that's why right now we stand at 51-47 because of inconsistency. Yeah, we've won more than we lost, but, we've also gone a couple, lucky wins. We've also gone a couple wins where, now a win's a win, don't get me wrong, but, we've also gone some really bad losses. So, Yankees got 3 against Tampa, and I'm going to be honest with you. All right, I'm just going to put this out there before the deadline because I don't want to say this after. I wouldn't be surprised if Brian Cashman stays put and doesn't do anything at the deadline. Because this happens every year where all these people are talking about what the Yankees are going to do and all this stuff, and he never does anything. So I really wouldn't be surprised if Brian Cashman doesn't do a thing at the deadline. And especially how the Yankees are playing, where you don't really know if you want to be buyers or sellers, because we show moments of being really good, and then we show moments of being really garbage, where we're blowing games that we had no hitters in, and you don't really know what to do. Like I said, I don't really think this Rays series means much. Now, let's just say this: let's say we go in and you take 3 or 4 against Boston. I think this Rays series would mean a whole lot more right now. But after losing 3 or 4 against Boston in Fenway, I don't really know if this Rays series means much. It's still another series. You still want to get the wins, but in terms of what we're going to do at the deadline, I think at this point, Brian Cashman, either he already knows what he's going to do, or he doesn't. It's simple as that. It really is. And I don't think this Rays series is going to change his mind. So, Yankees did this to themselves. All right, so coming out of the All-Star break now, we are 2-1 there. Okay, so 4-1. Yeah, 4-1. Then 3 out of 4. That's what? So you lose 3 out of 4 there. So you're 1-3, 2-1. I'm trying to do the math here. So they were 4-1 going into the series coming out of the All-Star break. On a 4-game win streak, beating Boston twice, beating Philly twice. Then they lose on Thursday. Then they win on Friday. Or they lose Thursday, lose Friday, win Saturday. So they were 4-1, then 4-2, 4-3, and 5-3. They're 5-4. Looks like. So 4, 6. Yeah, they're 5-4. So in this 9-game stretch here, they're 5-4. I mean, we did say if you go 7-5, or if you go, at the time it was 13 games. If you go 7-6, if you go, 6-7, if you go 8-4, it's one of those things where it at least keeps some options open. But I mean, we're 5-4. So I don't know. If we sweep Tampa, does that all of a sudden make the Yankees buyers? Who knows? I mean, maybe the Yankees are buyers either way. Maybe the Yankees are, even if we get swept here, maybe the Yankees are like, you know what? We need to win a championship. We got to go out and do everything in our power to do that. But after this series, I don't really know what the Yankees are going to do. So right now, the standings stand at Yankees are 51-47. They're 9 games back. They are on a losing streak of 1, obviously. And they're 5-5 in their last 10. So going into this series, they were 7 games back. They are now 9 games back again. They are 3rd place right now, but the Blue Jays are really close to going in front of the New York Yankees. And just to show you how bad this is, the Cleveland Indians are 9 games back in their Central, and they are 1 game above 500. Just goes to show you where the Yankees are right now. They are not in very good company. 9 games back is just awful. It really is. I'm just going through some other divisions. I mean, the Chicago Cubs right now are 9 games back in their division. So just to put in perspective where the Yankees stand amongst some of the other MLB teams out there, it's really bad. And the wild card right now, the Yankees are 3.5 back. So we are 2 back in the loss column, and it looks like 5 in the win column. So we are actually in the wild card not awful. We're still only 3.5 back in the wild card. Division, people got to stop talking about the division. The division's out. Okay, forget about it. Okay, if we would have swept the Red Sox and maybe been like 4 games out after this series, it's a completely different story. Take 3 out of 4, different story. We lose 3 out of 4 with 9 games back. Completely forget about the division. Okay, just forget about it. Stop saying, oh, if we do this and do this, maybe we can win a division. No. Okay? At this point, if the Yankees want any chance at all, and like I said, any chance, if they even want to make the playoffs, you're talking about wild card. Yankees are going to have to go through the wild card. They're going to have to they're going to have to be the road team. they're going to have to be on the road the entire playoffs. They're not going to have, they'll be at home, but the entire playoffs is not going to have to come through Yankee Stadium, which is super frustrating. So, we'll have to see. But Yankees right now are 3.5 back in the wild card. If that means anything to anybody, we'll see. But I thought this was crazy. So you look at the Yankees division record too, just to go to show you how bad the Yankees have been in their division. Yankees are 20-28 right now in their division, which is just awful. It's awful. You're 8 games below 500 in a division here, and you're trying and get like a division. Like, it's just terrible. And in the Central, they're 13-6. In the West, they are 12-7, and the rest is 6-6. So, it really is something else. Yankees just cannot find a way to get wins in their division. They can't beat the Rays. They can't beat the Red Sox. And with the Blue Jays, we win some with the Blue Jays, lose some. We crush the Orioles because, the Orioles we crush them. As a Yankee fan, you wish you could play the Orioles every game. We crush them. We look like a star-studded team then. By the way, I think we play the Orioles start of August. We gotta have way more games against the Orioles, right? Yeah, we play the Orioles a little bit more here. Okay, yeah. So we play the Orioles July, then we play them twice in September. So we have a couple more matchups against the Orioles. I feel like we've barely played the Orioles this season. Maybe it's just because I'm as a Yankee fan, you're so desperate to get one of those if we beat the Orioles, 3-game sweep, that would be nice. If we can even beat the Orioles, can we? Can our bullpen sustain the Orioles' deep and scary lineup? Who even knows? So 3 against Tampa starting Tuesday. And then you got 3, and then you got like a 6-game stretch where you're talking about 3 wins that you have to win. 6 wins, rather. You get 3 against Miami, then you get 3 against Baltimore, which is the start of a 7-game homestand, which would be 3 against Baltimore and 4 against Seattle. And other than that, that's really it. Then you get into Kansas City, which is another easy one. Then you have Chicago, which is actually the Field of Dreams game. That's not going to be easy. Then you have the Angels, which is a quick 1-game series there, 1 game there. Then you have the Red Sox again, the Twins, which is the Yankees' schedule in August actually is incredibly difficult. If it means anything, I'm just going through it here. Your first 8 games in August are against teams that are, below 500 or just hovering above 500. The Mariners right now are actually in a better position than the Yankees, but the Yankees were able to get the job done against the Mariners. Then you get to the Royals, who are terrible this season. Who the Yankees, swept, I think, earlier. That was when the Yankees started to get on that little roll, and everyone was talking about the Yankees being this big team again. But, hey, what are the Yankees going to do? And are the Yankees buyers or sellers at the deadline? Did this series show us anything? I think no. I don't even know what the Yankees are at this point. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Yankees just stay put and not make any moves. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but yet again, Yankees get embarrassed. And 20-28 against their own division. And the S Network yesterday showed up a pretty cool stat thing. Although I'm not a huge fan of the S Network, but they showed up this pretty cool stat just breaking down the Yankee season. And it's insane, breaking down all the games that the Yankees have played this season. It really is insane. It just goes to show you, I wish I could find it, but it just goes to show you what the Yankees have gone through this season. They started off the season really slow. Then they went on this big stretch, 15 and something or whatever. All of a sudden, they were 9 games above 500, and everyone's like, all right, yep, the Yankees are back. They just got off to a slow start. Then they struggled, and then they played better again. Then they struggled, then they played better again. Then I'm just going through here. Then they struggled some more, and they played better again. And then, oh no, we lost 3 out of 4 against Boston. That's been the story of the Yankee season. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And if you want to win baseball, if you want to be a championship caliber team, you can't be hot and cold. You can't be. You just can't. You got to be consistent. You got to find a way to consistently win, and the Yankees have not done that at all this season. The only thing the Yankees has been consistent with is being inconsistent. The story of the season, and that's really it. And the Yankees right now, coming out of a terrible weekend, got to regroup today. They'll get some firepower, heading into the Tampa series with Judge and Gio coming back. Hopefully they are able to come back, and hopefully they're able to get back into their groove pretty quickly here. But, we'll see. We'll see what the Yankees are able to do, and I'm not too confident the rest of the way here with the New York Yankees. What they're going to do in Tampa. Not too confident either. So, we'll see. But, that's what I got for the New York Yankees. Same old, same old. I wish I could be talking about Yankees winning 3 out of 4 in Fenway and be more positive and be more upbeat, like, oh, yes, the Yankees won 3 out of 4. But that's not the case. And now the Yankees head to Florida for a couple games, 6 in Florida, Tampa, then Miami. So that's what I got for the New York Yankees and their struggles, and they're not able to win. They're failing to close out games. Yankees were not like this last season. Like, the Yankees were not like, they did not fail to close out games last season. Like, I don't remember it. I remember the Yankees last season. Now, sure, it was a weird 60-game season, but we weren't like when we lost, we lost. We weren't blowing games like this. At least that's what I remember. Alrighty, so with all that being said, coming up next here, I want to get into the Rangers trade Pavel Buchnevich. I will get into my thoughts on this trade, get into why I don't like this trade, get into kind of just where the thought process was behind the trade. I'll get into this coming up next. Alright, so we welcome you back here about the podcast. So, obviously the New York Rangers this weekend have made a trade. New York Rangers trade Pavel Buchnevich to St. Louis Blues for Sammy Blais and 2022 second-round pick. Sammy Blais, whatever his name is. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it a little wrong. I'm not great with names, especially when it comes to the NHL, where there's a lot of different names, obviously players from all across the world, and obviously different names all over the place, so I'm not great with names, so I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I'll try my best. Sammy Blais, whatever, however you spell it, it's Blais, so it's kind of Blais, or whatever, I don't know, but either way, Rangers have officially traded Pavel Buchnevich to the St. Louis Blues as the New York Rangers kick off their 2021 NHL offseason, really get it kicked off. Obviously, first it was really with the signing of Barclay Goodrow, signing him to the 6-year deal, then buying out Tony DeAngelo, and then trading for Pavel Buchnevich, although I do think it was Buchnevich, then DeAngelo. Either way, in that order, whatever it is, the Rangers have made a couple moves. It really happened over the weekend with the NHL draft, where the Rangers took a couple players there. The Rangers draft picks, too, I was very, very kind of, like, I don't understand what the New York Rangers are doing right now. I really don't. And, and I mean, like, with the NHL draft, too, because they took another winger, and the last thing we need is a winger. The Rangers need a center. The Rangers need a center. They need a guy that's going to be able to win faceoffs. They need a guy that's going to be able to shoot. They need a guy that's going to be able to score. They need a center. And we went out. We finally got a center in the draft, but the Rangers, they need a center. And we've been going out and getting all these different wingers and all this kind of stuff. So now, Pavel Buchnevich is a winger, don't get me wrong, but I still disagree with this trade. So the Rangers have traded Pavel Buchnevich to the St. Louis Blues for Sammy Blais and a 2022 second-round pick. Now, first of all, right, nothing against this Sammy Blais guy. I personally don't know too much about him. From what I'm hearing, from what I'm, kind of looking at, he seems to be a young guy with some high potential. He's been winning. He's been able to win with the Blues. He's been a pretty big contributor with the Blues in terms of their winning with the obviously St. Louis Blues won the Stanley Cup. In terms of all that, like, he's been able to win. He's been able to find ways to win. Like, he's been in a winning culture. He's going to bring some winning here. He's got a guy. He's a young player with, some high potential. That's what I've heard from him so far. Now, don't get me wrong. Potential is big. Exceeding that potential, living up to that potential is another thing. We'll figure that out when it comes to New York Rangers. You can have all the potential in the world. If you can't live up to that potential, well, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to have a good career in the NHL, NBA, MLB, NFL, in anything, in any job. If you have potential and you don't live up to the potential, you're not going to be successful. So it's one thing to talk potential. It's one thing to say, oh, this guy's going to be great. He's going to fit into the offense well. It's another thing to say that, it's another thing to live up to that. It's another thing to fit well in the locker room. It's another thing to do what Pavel Buchnevich did. It's another thing to bring the physicality that the New York Rangers are looking for. It's another thing to bring that goal scoring. It's another thing to bring that winning attitude to the locker room. So we'll see if he can do that. We'll see. Now, to get to Pavel Buchnevich, I just don't like this trade. I don't understand where the Rangers are going with this. Maybe I should rephrase that a little bit, because I do understand why the Rangers traded Pavel Buchnevich. I do. I get it. I understand why we traded him. I understand the thought process behind trading him. And I understand, he was going to be a free agent at the end of the season, and he was going to be a free agent, and the Rangers were going to look to get a lot of money he was going to look for a lot of money. Rangers were going to have to pay him a lot of money, and he's going to probably want a lot of money. The Rangers were going to have to give it to him. But personally, as much as I know the Rangers are going for youth, going for kind of maybe saving up some money with draft picks and going for youth, as much as they're trying to do that, and I get where they're coming from with that, as much as they're trying their best to do that, for a guy like Pavel Buchnevich, I think you give him the money. And I understand he's a winger. I understand he's a guy that's going to be, a free agent. I understand he's in a position that the Rangers really don't need it much. Wingers we have a lot of wingers. We have a lot of really good wingers. The last thing we need is a winger, which the Rangers take a winger with their first overall pick in the draft, which was the 16th overall for the New York Rangers. So as much as a lot of people are talking about the Rangers not wanting wingers, the Rangers take a winger. And they trade Pavel Buchnevich, and then they pick up another winger. It just doesn't make sense within the draft, obviously. But I just don't understand why the Rangers are trading. We could have gotten so much more for Pavel Buchnevich than a 2022 second-round pick and a young player with talent, with potential. Don't get me wrong, he's got potential, but a guy that I don't know if he's going to have the same impact on his team as Pavel Buchnevich did. And it's not just what Buchnevich did on the ice, his skill on the ice, his scoring ability, his passing ability. It's what he brought to the locker room. It's what he brought to the team. It's what he brought to the fan base. It's what he brought to the franchise. He was really great in the locker room. He was really great with the teammate. He was a really good teammate. A lot of guys liked him a lot. A lot of guys really looked up to him. He was a guy that came on as a New York Ranger. His entire career has been with the Rangers. Fans kind of gather around him. He's been a really key piece in the locker room, a leader in the locker room. It's not just what he did on the ice. It's more so what he did off the ice that really made him a key factor, a key contributor to this New York Rangers team. And the Rangers, after coming off of a career year and a shortened 56-game season, trade him and get a second-round pick for him. And oh, by the way, get a young player with, yes, lots of potential, but still, is he going to be able to do what Buchnevich did with the New York Rangers? This is a move that could really backfire on the New York Rangers, and I think it will, personally. Now, we're sitting here 2 years from now, and we're talking about Sammy Blais being the next big thing. Well, that's a different story. If we're talking about him this season and about how he has a big year this year, it's a completely different story. But right now, I don't know why the Rangers... Like I said, I understand why, but you could have gotten so much more for him. And if everyone's saying, oh, well, you trade him and you get something in return, well, yeah, you get something in return, but honestly, you're better off just letting him go in free agency. What is a 2022 second-round pick going to do for you? It's not even for this season. So it's not even like we can instantly build. I wouldn't be surprised if the New York Rangers go ahead and trade this 2022 second-round pick to another team. I wouldn't be surprised if Sammy Blais, if he doesn't have a good year this year, he becomes a trade package to another team. It just makes zero sense. The Rangers, I feel like, got worse in this deal, and the St. Louis Blues got a whole lot better. And you can't sit here and say that the Rangers got better in this deal. The Rangers took a step back in this deal, and the St. Louis Blues just took a huge step forward. Pavel Buchnevich coming off of a career year, coming off of a season where he had a really good year, coming off of a season where he played He's played all 301 games with the New York Rangers. I mean, I just don't understand where the thought process is. 20 goals last season in 54 games played. If he wants the money, give him the money. What he did on the ice is one thing. It's what he did in the locker room. It's what he brought to the fan base. It's what he brought to his teammates. It's him building chemistry. It's him being a leader. He's still young and he was a leader. I mean, he was a fan favorite. And you get a second round pick. And Sammy Blais, who has had some winning. He's had some big moments with the Blues. But is he going to make the same exact impact Pavel Buchnevich made? No. And I understand he brought physicality and all of that. And I understand that. But Rangers got Barclay Goodrow and all that. That's physicality. You also need scoring. Don't completely just get rid of your scoring. Don't just completely just forget about the scoring. You know, physicality is big. I like physicality a lot, but you can't just tell me that, oh, let's just go out and get physicality and trade away all of our bigger scores. No, no. No. I don't like this trade. I don't like it at all. And I got to admit, I'm a little concerned that this deal is going to make us take a step back. Because you can't sit here as a Ranger fan and say, oh, Sammy Blais is an upgrade. No, it's a downgrade. Pavel Buchnevich was one of our best players last season. He skated well. He shot well. He took passes well. He passed the puck well. He did a lot of that last season. He had a career year and 54 games played due to the shortened 56-game season. And you trade him and you get nothing in return. We didn't get much in return. We didn't. And the Rangers fans, they'll do this. Every fan base does this. They'll find ways to like the trade. They'll find ways. Let me find a way to like this. Let me find a way to find the silver lining in the trade. And who knows? Maybe the Rangers did find a diamond in the rough in Sammy Blais. And I would love that. But right now, I don't think this trade doesn't make much sense. It doesn't. And you could sit here and say, oh, well, the Rangers need physicality, need this and this and that. The Rangers just built physicality with Barclay Goodrow. Pavel Buchnevich was liked around the locker room. He was a very good scorer, very good assist man. Had a great year last year. Has played all 301 games in his NHL career with the New York Rangers. I could give you a load of reasons why this is a bad move. He's played every single game of his career with the New York Rangers. The Rangers drafted him in the third round in 2013. He came up throughout their farm system. He came up with their other teams. He joined the Rangers. And ever since then, he's been a key contributor to this team. And you trade him and you get not much in return. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm sure the Rangers could have at least got another draft pick. Maybe another second round pick, maybe another late first. You could have at least gotten a first for this guy. You could have. Coming off of the year he had one of the better seasons for a winger throughout the league last season in terms of scoring and his passing ability. You just didn't get much in return. That's what annoys me the most, is the Rangers didn't get much in return. And, for a guy that has meant so much to this team, to just get rid of him like that just makes zero sense. I don't like the move one bit, and I think this is a terrible start to the offseason, because you downgrade now. You talk about trying to make the playoffs, well, guess what? You downgrade now with this move. You can't sit here and tell me, if you're a New York Rangers fan, that Sammy Blais is an upgrade. He's not an upgrade. He's not even close to what Pavel Buchnevich did last season in terms of scoring, in terms of his playmaking, in terms of his passing ability, in terms of assists. Oh, by the way, I already said his locker room, his leadership. Everybody liked him in the locker room. The fans, the franchise, they all gathered around him. You can't tell me that Sammy Blais, this trade, the second round pick, is just what the Rangers need. You can't tell me that the Rangers got an upgrade in this deal. No. So you're getting an upgrade giving up one of your best players? Just think about that for a second. If you're a Rangers fan that likes this deal, let me ask you this. It's an upgrade for giving up one of your best players. That's an upgrade? Because now you need Sammy Blais to be one of your best players then, in order for it to be what the Rangers want. That's an upgrade? You sure about that? I don't think that's an upgrade. I don't think it's anywhere close to an upgrade. And I get it. Still got time to develop. He could come in to be a really good player. And I get it. He's physical. He is physical. I understand that. But for what Buchnevich did to this team, no. It makes no sense. I don't like the deal one bit. I don't. It's just Chris Drury and then to go draft a winger in the draft. No. If you're going to give up Buchnevich and then go draft another winger, you should have just kept Buchnevich. Not trade him, create some spot for some other players on the roster, and then, it just, no. It makes no sense. Alrighty, so let's get into this quick article here for the New York Rangers trading Pavel Buchnevich. So New York Rangers trade Pavel Buchnevich to St. Louis Blues for Sammy Blais, 2022 second-round pick. The New York Rangers traded winger Pavel Buchnevich to the St. Louis Blues on Friday for forward Sammy Blais and a 2022 second-round pick. Buchnevich, 26, is a restricted free agent with arbitration rights. He played all 301 games in the NHL with the Rangers, who selected him in the third round in 2013. Buchnevich had 79 goals and 116 assists in those games, including 20 goals in 54 games last season. So he's going to touch all aspects of our game, and he's at a good age, Blues GM Doug Armstrong said. As we continue to retool this roster, I think he's a good piece for us. Blais, 25, has 1 year left on his deal and $1.5 million against the cap before he reaches restricted free agency, also with the arbitration rights. Primarily a defensive forward, Blais has 35 points in 119 games in 4 seasons with the Blues. He was a 6th-round pick for St. Louis in 2014. The trade ends multiple seasons of trade speculation surrounding Buchnevich. Despite the Rangers surrounding Buchnevich, Trade speculation surrounding Buchnevich. Despite the Rangers forward being one of their most productive. He's 2.6 points per game per minute, 60 minutes at 5-on-5. We're second to Artemi Panarin, 3.04 on the team in 2020-2021. And like I mentioned, he was speculated. There was rumors around it. It's not so much that we traded him, it's what we got in return, and it's what we are trading. It's frustrating. And I just and there's going to be Rangers fans out there that are going to love this move. They're going to find ways to love this move. You know me as a sports fan. I'm not. Every move that my team makes, I don't like it. I know there's a lot of sports fans out there that they'll find ways to like the move. I'm not going to like this move. Sure, if it works out, sure, I'll find a way to like it. But even if it does, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. I just don't. We did not get enough in return for what we could have in a guy like Pavel. We just didn't. It's frustrating. Alrighty, so let's just get to this page here. Alright, so let's get to the New York Sports Update and finish off this podcast for the day. By the way, the Saints are going to work out Chris Hogan, which I thought this was interesting because Chris Hogan was in the PLL, which is the Premier Lacrosse League, and now he's going to possibly sign with the Saints. This is just hilarious. A guy who stopped football. This is ridiculous. So Chris Hogan, who is playing lacrosse, is now going to play football again. What's going on with this? Just trying to make money, I guess. Alrighty, so let's get to the MLB. As for yesterday, the White Sox won, Mariners won, Dodgers won, Giants won, Cubs won, Cardinals won, Cheaters won, Angels won, Royals won, Orioles won, Marlins won, Indians won, Phillies won. Mets won yesterday 5-4. Mets moved to 52-44 on the season. Yankees obviously lost yesterday 5-4. They moved to 51-47 on the season. As I mentioned earlier, blow another game. Alrighty, as for today, we got the Mets, Braves. I got to that in a second. Phillies, Nationals. I'll give Phillies to win. Blue Jays, Red Sox. Give Red Sox to win. Cubs, Reds give Cubs the win. Twins, Tigers give Twins the win. White Sox, Royals give White Sox the win. Angels, Rockies give Angels the win. Cheaters, Mariners give Cheaters the win. Alrighty, so let's get to the games today for the Mets. Mets play today at 5:10 p.m. Eastern Time on the network. Mets come in this game 52-44. Braves come in this game 48-50. Atlanta's got Mueller on the mound. He's 1-3 with a 3.20 ERA, and the Mets got Marcus Stroman on the mound. He's 7-8 with a 2.59 ERA. Let's see here. 64% of people think the Mets will win. I think the Mets will win this game. And as for Game 2, this game goes on today, 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Mets come in this game, well, it's kind of tough to say because Game 1 will all be done. Right now, Braves got Wilson on the mound in the second game. He's 2-3 with a 5.34 ERA. And 71% of people think the Mets will win this game. I'm going to give the Mets the win in Game 1. Depending on their pitcher in Game 2, I technically think the Mets will probably win more than likely. Alrighty, so fantasy baseball is not looking great here. I lose in fantasy baseball. 349 to 326. So it's definitely tough, frustrating. I'm 8-7 now on the season. I am now the 5 seed, and I've got to find a way to get these wins because I'm going to fall back in the division, and I got to find a way to make the playoffs. So right now, I'm 8-7. The person that I'm fighting with is 7-8. They are the 7 seed. So I got to find a way to get into the playoffs. I'm the 5 seed right now. I'm not completely safe, so I got to find a way. I do play against someone this week who's 7-8. So hopefully I can find a way to get the win. Sense of urgency a little bit now that, gotta find a way to get a win here. Gotta find a way to get back on track. Alrighty, so as for today, let's get to this here. It's actually Mondays for baseball, usually not a crazy amount on. Usually with everything, usually not too much on. Let me just make this one move. Put him there. All right, perfect. All right, so as for today, I've got Gene Segura, Austin Riley, Marcus Semien, J.P. Crawford, Josh Harrison, Whit Merrifield, and Carlos Correa. And I've got Luis Garcia on the mound for pitching. I've got an injury update. I've got many injury updates to get to. A lot of injury updates to get to. So I'll start off with Bregman. Bregman quadriceps will report to AAA Sugar Land to begin a rehab assignment Monday. Danielle Lerner of the Houston Chronicle reports. So he's going to head on over there to do a rehab assignment there. An update on Voit. Voit knee is doing significantly better per Yankees manager Aaron Boone, who could return to the active roster during the first week of August, MLB.com reports. Okay, so that's what I got for Voit. Now, 2 not-so-good injury news. Molina Neck is out of the lineup for Sunday's game against the Reds, so he was out of the lineup yesterday. We'll find out if it's anything major. We'll see. And Franmil Reyes is also today. Reyes was scratched from Sunday's lineup against the Rays with back spasms. Mandy Bell of MLB.com reports. So he was scratched from the lineup yesterday. Got to hope that he's able to come back perfectly fine. So I got some positive news and got some negative news on the injury front. So, hopefully it's nothing major because my lineup right now with the big games coming up, that's the last thing I need is injuries. But it's pretty crazy how fantasy baseball's already. I've only got like 4 more matchups left. So, we'll see. We'll see how everything plays out. But, today's Monday, so not too much on tonight other than the Mets. By the way, I've been watching the Olympics. So I watched the basketball game yesterday. I watched the Olympic basketball game, the USA versus France. And, oh my God, USA lost. I mean, it is terrible. And, they had a couple really good open looks from 3 that they missed late. Bam Adebayo got the big rebound, could not put up the layup. KD missed 2 threes. Drew Holiday missed a wide open 3. Zach LaVine missed a 3. I mean, it's wild. Not that you can make every shot, but when you have 5 opportunities in 1 possession, you got to take advantage of it. So USA lost. So they're back. USA. I mean, not that there is reason to be concerned. because they're passing too much. They're passing up open shots. They're doing too much. And it's not looking good. So Yankees have a day off today to get back to the normal stuff. Yankees have a day off today. Like I mentioned, Mets played 2 today, so definitely be watching those games. Those should be good. And yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. That's it. Like I said, Monday's not an insane amount of stuff on. Usually Monday's like a travel day for baseball, a day off kind of. So Tuesday, tomorrow, will be back up with everything else. So with all that being said, that will do it for the podcast here today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. It was another good podcast in the books. As always, I will see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching.